Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we're going to be checking out XDefiant. That's right, after 3 long years of tests and announcements and plenty of memes being shared around on the internet, Ubisoft's free-to-play first-person shooter has finally launched. Now some of you are probably like, well, why are you covering it, Rogue? You're a Division channel. I am. I've been having a good amount of fun on XDefiant though. I've been participating in the playtest that this game has had since mid-2021, so I've always had somewhat of an investment in it, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been having some fun with this. But the main reason why I wanted to make this video is because yes, this is a Ubisoft shooter that mixes many of its IPs from across the entire company, and that includes The Division. This game has a ton of Division inspiration and references, and if you didn't know, I've told the story before, but we'll go over it in this video, this game began as a dedicated Division spin-off. And you can see the bones of that down to the design. Like I said, we're going to take a look at the maps, the weapons. I'm using one right here from The Division. Every weapon in this game is seen in The Division 1 and 2, and the factions. We're playing as a cleaner right now, which obviously you can't do in The Division 1 and 2, so it's kind of cool, some of the crossovers that you see with this franchise that we all love. So that's kind of the goal for the video, and so let's jump into some matches and talk about it. So just to show you real quick what I was talking about, this is a shared IP shooter where Ubisoft has kind of brought in a bunch of their different factions from various franchises. You have Far Cry, Splinter Cell, Watch Dogs, Ghost Recon, but this, obviously for Division fans, is pretty cool that you can play as the cleaners. So obviously if you look here, you have these 3 different characters you can choose from, which aren't, symbolic of anyone in the game, but they're just kind of the same design that you'd see of cleaner enemies. You've got their abilities, where the Ultra is a big flamethrower. You can do a Molotov firebomb. You can do an incinerator drone. The passive is you get some incendiary rounds. And if we look at the weapon selection in the game, that's where you'll kind of see how, yeah, this was pretty much all Division. The TAC-50, the M44, the SVD, the M249, the M870, the AA-12, right? The Vector, the MP7, all of these are Division guns. And if this looks familiar, it's because, yes, this map is inspired by the original Brooklyn tutorial zone in The Division 1. You've got Admiral Burger right there, right underneath the Manhattan Bridge, I believe it is. So yeah, I would say 75% or more of the maps in this game are all based off of Division locations or inspired by them. And XDefiant has had a very interesting history and story of how it got to this point and how it started off as a Division spinoff. Maybe you've heard me talk about that story before in some videos before, but I'll just give a brief kind of recap on it. Back in early to mid-2021, there were these leaks and rumors that began going around that a game codenamed The Division Battle Cat was going to be revealed. And it was basically rumored that, yeah, it was going to be a first-person shooter featuring Division factions, Division locations, all that stuff. When XDefiant was then revealed in mid-2021, around July I think it was not called The Division, it was just called Tom Clancy's XDefiant, and it featured these crossovers from all these different IPs. You had The Division, you had Splinter Cell, you had Ghost Recon, but the bones of how this clearly started as a Division exclusive spinoff are obvious. Like I said, 75% plus of the maps are from The Division. The only ones that are not were added in once they made the switch from it being like Tom Clancy and Division exclusive. All of the guns are from The Division. Originally, when they revealed it, you could also play as the Outcasts as well as the Cleaners, so they had 2 factions that were from The Division instead of just 1. So yeah, the story of XDefiant is a very interesting one, and obviously it's had a long road to get to where it is now, where it's finally released and out there for people to play. Now, some interesting stats that came out on it that I saw was that it has become Ubisoft's fastest growing new game of all time. I believe it had 3 million unique players within the first 24 or 48 hours. I'd have to go and double check that, but it is an impressive number. It's an impressive feat. Now, of course, that is aided by the fact that it is free to play. That means there's a much lower barrier of entry for people trying it out as compared to a premium title. But still, I don't think you can diminish that accomplishment. That is a pretty big deal. And at the end of the day, everyone's got their opinions on this game. Some people think it's the most disrespectful thing Ubisoft has ever done in the history of gaming. Some people think it's a nice alternative to Call of Duty. Some people, like myself, just think it's kind of a fun game to play. I don't plan to take it super seriously. I don't think it's the most impressive game I've ever played, but it's fun, and that's what matters to me at the end of the day. Alright, Division fans, tell me you recognize this one. That's right, it's a map based off of Coney Island that we obviously see in The Division 2's Episode 3 content. And so I also think it's just kind of fun to see these different takes and inspirations on these Division locations that we've been to so many times in the games. Bam! And I won't lie, it has been pretty fun to play this as a cleaner. Obviously not something you get to do in the Division games. They are my favorite enemy faction from the Division, so what can I say? Oh, I know some of you recognize that. Now we're on a Liberty Island themed mission, which is pretty cool. You can see the Statue of Liberty right there. This is obviously where we fought Aaron Keener at the end of Warlords of New York. You got Kerman Coffee right here. It's kind of cool to see the Division locations in a first-person perspective. All right, it's time to lock in though. Let's get a kill streak going, shall we? That's a good start. These two have no idea that I'm here. Ready for this? Alright, he was a little too far away. Got that. Got that. Alright, ready for this? Ready for this? I thought that was going to get someone. That will. Oh, that was a nice double. Alright, I really want to get a good flamethrower play here. Let's see if we can do it right now. Got him. We go around. Got that. I'll take 3. Nice. Now this map's pretty cool because, as you might be able to tell, it's a winterized version of the Iron Horse Foundry, the raid map that we have in The Division 2. So again, that's not set in the winter in that game, so it's cool. Here we go. They're not ready for it. They're not ready. Bam. Oh, we canceled each other's ults out. That was pretty good. Then here you've got the downed Air Force One that you obviously see in the Division 2's open world. So there's just tons and tons of maps that are Division themed. So yeah, I'll definitely be interested to see where XDefiant is in like 3-6 months time. It's not going to replace Call of Duty. Like, that's what some people, I think, want to have happen. No, it's not going to be that. But I think, and I think you've seen this so far in the reception of it from launch, it definitely is a viable alternative. It does some design things differently that I think a lot of people appreciate. And I think I am glad at the end of the day that this didn't go through with being a full-on Division spin-off. I mean, as much as I love everything Division, first-person competitive shooter just doesn't really fit the vibe of the franchise. I'm more than okay with them using all this stuff from the Division because none of this is canon, right? It's just for fun, and that's cool. I like seeing this in a different spotlight, like I said. But XDefiant serves to satisfy a different audience, so I'll definitely be curious to see how it does that over time. And now here we are on Broadway Emporium from Div 1 to close this out. So I hope you all enjoyed this look at XDefiant. Obviously, it is not a Division spinoff. This is not a part of the Division universe, but I figured because it has so many cool little tie-ins to the Division, with all the maps, with the cleaner faction, with everything, I figured some of y'all would want a cool look at it. I'd be very curious to hear y'all's thoughts on XDefiant. It's a very divisive game. It has been since they announced it 2 years ago, so whether you've tried it out so far, whether you've maybe watched some commentary or gameplay on it since it's released, I'd be very curious to hear what you're thinking. Oh my goodness. I'm certainly not opposed to doing more videos on it in the future. Like I said, I've been having a decent enough amount of fun with it, so let me know if this is something that you might want to see more of in the future. Oh, the double with the grenade. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one, everybody. Very much hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, RogueGold. Out.